Basically, the reason you pick Braum is because if the other team's playing a double AD carry comp, it stops them from being able to push towers
So Braum's
as well.
what AD carries you left?
They pick
got
Braum
left?
and Corki, right?
And Graves.
So that eliminates the ability for the other team to pick a double AD carry comp.
Well,
basically, I'm saying Braum works really well against double AD carry, and they've stopped the other team from being able to hit.
Yeah, I agree. That is a very
it just took a
succinct point. It took a long time to get there.
If I'd had someone not swearing in my ear, I feel like that point would have been a lot better. Anyway, we do actually have picks and bans up on your screen now. So it's a triple AD carry.
Triple AD carry comp, interesting. And they've picked up the Graves as well, just to make sure that Graves couldn't have potentially gone to that top lane.
However, Rammus.
And that's a great pick into a triple AD carry
pick
comp.
Malphite. Just play them both. Play Malphite mid. Full AP armor, Malphite mid. It's amazing. Iceborne Gauntlet, Lich Bane, Zhonya's, you're done. It's gravy. It's all Gucci.
I really like. Okay, so I'm gonna wind this back before we had the swearing, and we'll talk just a little bit about how these comps are shaping up here. So you've got a bit of a kind of a semi-pick composition coming through here with the Morgana and the LeBlanc, but realistically the crux of this composition is going to be that Rammus top.
Yes.
Now, he can very easily build pretty much full armor.
Full armor.
And as long as he builds some health in there, he'll be very easy to deal with this triple AD carry coming through. He may have to pick up that ZZ Rot for a bit of... you wouldn't go ZZ Rot usually on Rammus, but you may have to pick up some magic resist from somewhere.
Banshee's probably be a good shout.
Yeah, potentially, but I imagine it really depends on what role you're wanting to have Rammus in at this position. You could pick up that ZZ Rot and go for the split push, because obviously Nautilus does a similar kind of thing, and Rammus can work with that, and it does benefit him. It gives him both the magic resist and armor. Armor synergizes with Rammus so well, as everyone knows, and the magic resist, the flat magic resist, because it's one of the highest flat magic resist items in the game that should help you deal with damage coming through from Corki, because ideally as a Rammus you don't want to build magic resist, especially not early on. So realistically, as a Rammus, you want to go full armor. Yeah. The best way you pick Rammus is you go into a full AD composition. You just know that you can pretty much go Sunfire Cape Thornmail and win the game. You know, that is really how Rammus likes to play. He's going up against a Malphite, so someone who will have probably more utility, I sense in sort of like the composition that you're seeing.
Team fights, Malphite's a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Unless Rammus is able to get onto that backline.
Needs to flank. Rammus needs to flank, really. Especially against a Braum, a Lucian, and a Graves. All of those have dashes. A lot of them have slows built in. Yeah. Graves has got a bit of a slow with the smoke screen. Braum, as long as he can land that unbreakable... what's his ultimate called again? Glacial Fissure, that's what I was thinking. Breakable Fissure was kind of going along the same time. Like, as long as you can land that Glacial Fissure, you can stop him from using the Powerball to get on top. So, you know, there is a good amount of self-peel here, but it's kind of like if you miss it, you lose. So you've got to make sure you're really hitting that self-peel. And also with the addition of Corki, who does really do about 70% magic damage, you're going to have to factor in some magic resist somewhere, unless Plex decides to go for the Locket of the Iron Solari, which does give the kind of team-wide magic resist.
I think Plex will build Locket of the Iron Solari into Aegis into Locket of the Iron Solari, along with his own ZZ Rot. And then we'll just see Zergoth going that full armor route in the top lane.
Potentially. Really depends, because Gragas does so well with Runic Echoes now.
That's true.
You actually don't want to build Cinder Hulk in most cases on Gragas, because you can put so much pressure down with that Runic Echoes in the early game. I kind of don't think we'll see Gragas take the ZZ Rot.
Okay.
Just because generally you like to have teleport, and you like to be able to be in a side lane.
That's true, yeah.
Gragas doesn't have any of those. He probably won't be stuck in a side lane with the ZZ Rot. That's if we see a ZZ Rot at all. I mean, this is getting a bit presumptuous here. So, you know, you look at the composition, they've got a good pick. You know, you lock up a binding, you get the double chain coming through from special if you want to go for the double chain. Sometimes you can just pick up a singular chain.
2 chains are better than 1.
Well, yeah, but sometimes you can just afford the 1 chain. Not everyone has the money for 2 chains.
It's true. Not
everyone is a
multi. So.
Yeah, there you go. Not that you earn very much money. But then you can then roll that into the Rammus taunt, and obviously you have the Morgana, so no one's going to be able to black shield that taunt through.
Yeah.
So again, you're also probably going to have Rammus kind of split pushing. Rammus isn't particularly the most effective split pusher in the game, which is why I imagine we might see ZZ Rot come out from him, because that accentuates poor split pushers' ability to split push. And then, you know, the only way you're going to make Rammus function in this composition is by flanking, because you need to force Malphite to choose whether he wants to ult the backline or ult the Rammus that's running at his backline.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that there's a weakness that comes out from the side where you've got a Graves, you've got a Lucian, you've got a Corki. It's just you're giving your game away very early. You're quite squishy if that Rammus gets onto your backline. You're quite easy to take out. You're quite easy to lock down in team fights as well. And you've got a LeBlanc who's just going to jump on you and burst you. There's nothing a Braum can do to stop a LeBlanc coming out apart from the Glacial Fissure. But then you're trying to use that on Rammus as well. I really don't see the strength that comes out here from the TCA lineup.
The thing about TCA is if they even get a slight inch in this game, they can practically snowball it out of control. They've got huge tower push here. And obviously Braum can step up, use the Unbreakable, allow his team some time to siege the turrets, and with a triple AD, turrets are going to go down extremely quickly. My only issue is, because of the couple of modalities that they have to engage here, you have Callista ultimate with the Morgana. Sometimes you can just throw that crazy demon into the middle of the enemy team. You have Gragas and you have Rammus. The only real peel you've got is Unbreakable and the Malphite ultimate, and you've got to, if you miss those or you mess them up, you have them on cooldown, you're not going to have the effective self peel you need for 3 fairly squishy, highly valuable targets on the side of TCA. Yeah.
I think the thing about that is as well, if you can get a few concussive blows stacking up on people, you've got enough AD carries to lock
proc
them down.
100%, yeah.
If you can kite back and disengage well enough as a team for TCA, perhaps they can last in these fights and just draw them out naturally or disengage naturally from them. The risk is I think they're going to die before they can do that.
The elongated team fights really suit TCA. Obviously, you've got Corki who can burst. We saw that in the last game. Corki can burst extremely well. But with those concussive blows, with the Malphite, the longer drawn-out team fights kind of favour TCA. I mean, this is going to be such a seesaw game here. You know, you tip it one way and it's going to tip all the way. You know, you give Zergoth any kind of gold in that top lane, and suddenly it's going to be very difficult to kill him in the mid game.
I mean, what's probably happened, we have a little bit of a pause starting off here because Zergoth can't left click. So I think what's happened here is Summoner's Rift itself is trying to balance out the game by stopping Zergoth from being able to left click.
Yeah, there you go. But we are into game. We are into game, ladies and gentlemen. We will be getting onto the Rift very shortly. It is going to be Exertus Esports versus TCA. Exertus on that blue side, TCA on the red, and TCA are looking to push themselves towards the top of the table. Currently standing 1-1, I believe, with the rest of the guys in the middle of the pack. So they've got a big challenge here. Exertus are touted as our second seed team if you're taking it from pure standing points, but obviously with Manlight having that really great start to the season, they're putting themselves up into contention there. We'll have to see Corki. He is on that earth, just bouncing around. He's a happy little... What is Corki? Is he a gnome? Or
he's a yordle.
Yeah, I forgot. They don't...
Is he a gnome?
Well,
I remember that. Sneezy, happy, sleepy, grumpy, and Corki. Yeah, one of the 8 gnomes.
I forgot that yordles were the... I've been playing too much other Blizzard games at the moment.
Sad. Also, I said dwarves. All of those are dwarves as well. I can't even think... I can't even think of like a well-known gnome. Is Noddy a gnome?
Yeah, Noddy's a gnome.
Noddy.
He's a garden gnome.
Okay, good to know.
Anyone who isn't British won't know who Noddy is, right?
Noddy.
Noddy. How does that? Can you just sing me the theme tune?
That's it. That's all I know. I can do the Noddy.
Noddy, the garden gnome.
That was awful.
I know.
Bill and Bob? No, they were Flower Pot. Bill and Ben, Flower Pot Men.
If you guys, hashtag ESL Prem if you have any famous gnomes.
Gnome us. Name us some gnomes, guys.
Famous gnomes.
Important bit of the cast today. Toaster and Tundra. That's a great little bot name, Giro. That's superb. Toaster and Tundra.
The 2 T's.
Yep. Double T. Anyway, they're going to put some pressure down. Get some get some minions early in the game. And special... Oh, actually missed 2 minions of his first wave, so not doing as well as he could do. Giblet trying to farm himself up. LeBlanc into Corki Scoundrel. It's a closer matchup than the TF into Corki we saw last game.
It kind of depends. Corki can very easily burst, because basically Special has to commit to very close range to make his burst worth it. You know, he has to proc the Sigil of Malice with the Distortion. That gives Corki very easy opportunity to use that Phosphorus Bomb if timed correctly. Again, a lot of it is about timing in this matchup here. The top lane matchup, again, I think it's quite difficult, to be honest, for Zergoth, because he's going to want to be itemizing armor early on. That means he's going to be exploited. You see there, Giblet, he takes a lot of damage. He wasn't able to time that Phosphorus Bomb quite properly. So, you know, if Special can continue to put pressure on like that, then I think Zergoth will start to struggle.
That he will. Raisin's trying to put some pressure onto Toaster. The binding doesn't connect onto Ayuki, so they will just be able to walk back towards their minion wave. Already the pot burnt on Toaster as well, so Morgana not protecting him as well as he'd like in this lane.
Again, they were level 1.
Yeah, they were level 2 actually.
I thought they only just hit level 2 just recently, but again, you know, you don't go against a Braum Lucian level 2. You just don't win that fight. So they actually missed the cannon minion there. So that's a little bit of a small win there for the bottom lane of TCA, and Luke is just going to push them back here. Toaster and Tundra now going to start to farm under turret, and again, they're going to ward up that Tribush. They don't want to get caught out as Diabolo just takes that Rift Scuttler here and will head back towards his own jungle. Again, like I was talking about the top lane matchup, it's difficult for Zergoth because Malphite actually has pretty high base damages in terms of his magic, especially from his ground slam.
Yep.
And Zergoth, who as a Rammus is wanting to itemize armor early on, he's going to start to struggle because he will build for the team, but he won't be able to build effectively for lane.
Yeah, Diabolo trying to set up for a little bit of a gank in the bottom lane. I mean, we saw in the last game a 2v1 lane swap pushing that Smiley XD into the top lane on Kalista. Is there any position in this game or either team that you think would have benefited a bit more from a lane swap, perhaps getting Rammus into a lane? But both of these top laners really need a little bit of CS, a little bit of farm under their belts to get some of the items for them to fight out in the later game portions.
Yeah, no.
You think both the top laners need too much gold for them to lane swap?
Yeah, I mean, that is an issue. That, again, like you brought up a very valid point. Malphite actually doesn't need that much gold to make him useful. He does do.
Utility,
but the interesting thing about lane swaps is now is that you don't even get put into a 2v1, and actually you can get the kind of level of gold that you previously had. You just kind of delay it a little bit. Again, pushing pressure on this top lane, I'm not totally sure, may not be the best idea, because at the end of the day, Plex can potentially get fed from this position, but you're ganking a Malphite when all's said and done.
But you can gank a Malphite. You can burn his flash.
Yeah, you can burn his flash.
You can make him burn his TP before he hits level 6, which is big as well.
It's just a difficult lane because Rammus may win you the game, but realistically, I think putting pressure onto Special or Toaster and Tundra in that bot lane is going to have a slightly higher yield. Diabolo has a very interesting gank path coming through here as Tundra and Toaster are quite far up in this lane.
But they are. Raisin's going to go aggressive here. We can see it. There is the first blow onto Tundra. He puts the black shield down. Now Toaster, the target, the smoke screen comes out as well, but they will just be able to walk away. And here comes the TP flash. Binding doesn't connect as Raisin's flashes away. Counter TP and counter TP all over the place. Both of them cancelled
nicely. Yeah, that must have been cancelled at the very last moment there. Interestingly enough, Tundra timed that black shield really well. He timed it long enough knowing that no one had the magic damage in that bot lane to proc his black shield, and then the concussive blow stack dropped. So even if they'd wanted to, they wouldn't have been able to stun him up.
Definitely.
They would have just managed to get that final proc and do the magic damage that it does, and that would have just put pressure on the black shield, but wouldn't have really provided any outs.
Really well timed by him.
So well timed by Tundra, but he does burn that flash and is forced away in that bot lane. So, you know, taking stock of things so far, it's been a fairly quiet game. You look in that mid lane, even despite losing some early trades, Giblet is slightly up in CS, but if I'm completely honest, the only advantages are starting to creep in that bot lane, and that's because the Lucian Braum lane is just so oppressive.
So frustrating to play against as a bot laner, especially when you're playing one of those more passive laners like a Morgana who doesn't really have too much in the early game. It's about if you hit the bindings, if you have that jungle pressure coming in as well. So Kalista takes a while to scale, Morgana takes a while to get into the game properly against the Braum Lucian, who are so strong in lane with that light slinger and concussive blows passive combo. It's really difficult to win out.
Again, you're likely wanting to be focusing Raisins in this bot lane. As we are back into game, ladies and gentlemen, you're likely wanting to be focusing Raisins, because if you try and put all of your pressure onto Luke, then Raisins can just throw that Unbreakable down. It means that Ren stacks won't apply to Luke, and he will be in a fairly safe position. Now that the flash, oh my word, now that the flash has got,
Ooh, jolly hockey sticks. Oh, spiffly poo.
Excuse me, that's just how I talk, Sono. I'm sorry. just because we're not from the ghetto like you, mate. And just like, oh, mate, what? Look at that fight in the mid lane, mate. It's a proper scrap, innit? That's how you talk. I think is that you saying you don't sound like me?
No,
you don't sound incredibly middle class British.
Pretty accurate.
I'm not gonna lie, you do sound pretty middle class British.
So
you're kind of taking the mick out of yourself.
I've been living a lie my entire life. Oh, bot lane, Toaster's going to get engaged on here, and now Tundra will get stunned up in a second. He's going to go down. The heal will not be enough as he gets taken out by Raisins. The shield pounds him down, and he goes back towards the fountain. It's first blood for TCA.
Yep, it's the pressure was mounting. That kind of felt inevitable in that kind of sense, but Tundra, the victim of the Lucian Braum oppressive lane, like you said, very annoying to play against her. I don't think the Black Shield went down quite at the right time there, because I do believe he got stunned up.
He popped onto Toaster instead of himself.
Ah, right, yes, we threw it onto Toaster, and then he unfortunately got locked up. I think it was the Winter's Bite went on to Toaster, and then the auto attack came on to Tundra. So that was really well played by Raisins in that bot lane. And the first blood actually goes over to Raisins with the Ignite, so not the most ideal situation.
He bopped him with the shield.
Oh, he bopped him with the shield. Okay, you were doing the arm movements there as well.
I do that all the time. I do it at home when I'm playing. You have to act out your champion's animations. It makes them 5% more powerful.
Can you stream Hearthstone, and every time that you take damage, pretend like you've taken damage on webcam?
Yeah, that'd be quite funny. Oh, Diablo and Nocturnal Plex in a battle in the jungle, but here comes Gibbler and the rest of TCA. Special there as well, who'll jump in.
Oh my word! Double kill!
It's a double for Special, and that's a very special play. Now, Raisins on the retreat. He'll get taken out in just a second as well. Nocturnal Plex will get knocked up, and he's been stunned, but Raisins gets taken out as well. It's a triple. They're going for the Quadra onto Fearless as well, who has no flash, has no unstoppable force. There's no mana on Special. There's nothing left for Fearless to do but give up his life and die, although he might escape.
Oh,
no, it's a Quadra for Special. Delayed Quadra, and the LeBlanc is on a roll.
Okay, I mean, I wish I could have seen that in more, because it kind of flashed by ever so quickly, but...
Oh! Gibbler! Special Gibbler! Oh,
brilliant
Tundra
binding.
With the binding, and Special gets away. But here is Diablo, and Special not for much longer. No, yes, no,
oh,
no, yes!
What?
Oh, the jukes, the dodges give Raisin his triple kill. Not quite, as it's a shutdown for Gibbler. Special, living up to his name once more, almost escapes some 3 members of TCA.
Yeah, Andy burnt the flash of Diabolo right there. So the shutdown goes to the Corki, maybe not the most ideal target, but the flash burnt for Graves is at least a silver lining. So, what happened there? We had a bit of a jungle invade coming through, and you saw Rammus and Plex both collapsed in. What's really important to note is Plex flashed the Malphite ultimate.
Yeah.
So he flashed the Malphite ultimate. That gave him basically enough time to apply more pressure and damage with the barrels. So he was doing a lot more damage in that fight than he should have done, because he would have gone down pretty quickly to the barrels if he had not been... quickly gone down to the Malphite ultimate had he not flashed it. Again, there's a lot of armor and... there's a little bit of armor and a bit of magic resist. So Corki, they kind of itemizing early on against Corki. You can see in the top lane he's going for the Null Magic Mantle into the Negatron Cloak, which I imagine is going to go to the ZZ Rock portal. So they know that really the only major forms of damage in these smaller skirmishes in the mid game is going to be Corki on that magic damage. So you want to itemize against the biggest threat, it's going to be that Corki. So he's picked up that Negatron Cloak. So they were able to survive for quite a long period in that team fight. And then Special just comes in with a double distortion and picks up a double kill. Beautiful. And the rest was history. I mean,
it's what we were saying in the pick and ban, though. Unbreakable's not going to stop a LeBlanc jumping on your team. Glacial Fisher might, though, and Toaster gets caught out here by Raisins and Ayuki. Raisins finally deciding to give the kill to his AD carry. Tundra wasn't there to protect his own, and it's 4-4 on the board between TCA and Exertus Esports.
I mean... this bot lane is really a saving grace for TCA right now. I got to say, because of Tundra roaming and kind of how the early lane played out, Toaster and Tundra have not been having the best of times. Zergoth now picking up that Negatron Cloak helps him in lane and helps him against Corki as well, because obviously you're itemizing quite nicely against the Malphite very early on. And he is really starting to ramp up the damage here, because Malphite forced to go for his own... Spirit Visage instead of going towards the Sunfire Cape, which will give him that early spike.
I think the Spirit Visage
it's the sensible decision
against Special as well, who's 4-1
but it kind of
now.
reduces the effectiveness of Malphite as a champion. As Tundra, they may even lose this bot lane turret here.
Will go down. It's double AD carry in the bot lane, helps him push it down quite quickly. First tower on the board for TCA. But what we haven't talked about, you talked about the fight. Where do TCA go from here? Because They lost 4 kills onto a LeBlanc in that fight.
Yeah.
How can they come back from that?
I think you need to exploit the fact that there is very low wave clear on the side of, as we're talking about this, Fearless is going to be forced back. I didn't mention that Fearless has practically only played Malphite, by the way, throughout all of the ESL Premiership, so he's been fairly experienced on this champion across the games that we've seen. I think you exploit the fact that you've got a triple AD composition going up against very low wave clear, or at least quite risky wave clear in the form of LeBlanc. You know, Tundra will have a portion of wave clear, but he obviously isn't going to be scaling up the same way as a mid laner would be, so that pool will drop off. Obviously, you also level the binding first, so you won't have that Tormented Soul, unless I will have to double check, but unless he is leveling that Tormented Soul just to be a form of binding first. So he's leveling the binding first, which makes sense because it obviously provides the greater stun length, or bind length rather. So you exploit the fact that they have very little wave clear, and then you group up as 380 carries and just push down turrets.
Speaking of pushing things down, Diablo might get pushed out here. Tundra and Nocturnal Plex will catch him out. Here comes the Rammus TP coming in behind them, but Diablo will be dead before the TP even finishes. Now Raisins, they're trying to catch on to Tundra. The Unstoppable Force will be enough, and Tundra is a dead man walking away towards his tower, and he will just about escape. Oh no, Raisins! Flash Winter's Bite. It's the cold, cold embrace of the Winter's Bite for the Tundra. And he goes down for the second time this game.
We don't see Raisins in winter, and
no, Sultana's in winter.
It is, yeah. Oh wow,
Here
they're going
comes
for it.
Zergoth. They're going to go into Ayuki. They know there's no Glacial Fissure left. They know there's no flash on Raisins. They're going to try and take him out. The Tremors will be enough. And like a bad 80s movie, the Tremors actually not going to be as effective as they thought they'd be. Zergoth will have to now run away.
In line with the 80s movie.
Well, no, the 80s movie wasn't that effective, was it?
I think that was initially effective, then started to.
It's sort of a cult classic.
As with all movies, initially not effective, and then eventually becomes
cult classic.
Yeah.
Good old Tremors.
Tremors is a great film in the 80s, not the remake version.
No, not the remake version. Dear me.
Tremors originally was a great film.
Yeah.
So as we were saying before all of that, and I have no idea where we've gone with this conversation, but I think they can group up and exploit the low wave clear. If they get dragged down into the dirt in these little smaller engages and scraps, I think they're going to actually do far worse than you would expect them to. And the ZZ Rot has already been finished, by the way. So that's a first item ZZ Rot for Zergoth.
It's considering how much we talked about him building armor, it's a little bit strange to see as a first item. I guess if you want to go for that split push, it does help you out, and it helps you just make sure that you can keep a lane pushing up towards that tower as much as you can. In a 1v1 top lane, it helps you push the tower a little bit quicker because it's not already down and you don't have to push as far. He's getting a lot of CS off it as well. He's 30 CS up in that lane, so he's definitely winning out the lane. But from here on in, it's got to be all armor, right?
I imagine he will now start to look towards getting the armor. He's probably got sufficient magic resist to survive against this Corki now for the mid portion of the game, which is actually all that is important. Fearless is behind enemy lines right now.
You could say he's being fearless, couldn't you?
Yeah, foolish. Could
foolish
be word
or
for
fearless, that is the question, whether 'tis nobler in the mind to get explosive pass back. And he will just Unstoppable Force himself back towards the tower, but they're going to chase. The Fate's Call comes out. There comes Tundra, but the lot of damage coming out from Ayuki with the culling. There has been a kill in the top lane, which we missed because of this fight in the bot lane. The heal comes out from Toaster, and Ayuki and Fearless will just protect this tower. Diablo and Raisins did manage to take down Zergoth in the top.
Yeah, so they've actually switched Fearless away from Zergoth because he cannot survive any longer in this 1 versus 1. They're going to take away this ZZ Rot portal, which is actually fairly close to the Exerter's turret here. You can see
he was just using it to push the lane. He wasn't using it for tower damage. He wasn't using anything like that. It was just to push the lane up.
Yeah, and they're going to try and push and put pressure down onto this turret. So this is what Graves is pretty good at as well. They're actually going to stick around. They're going to try and take this down despite taking a lot of damage from the turret now.
Yeah, I don't know if Raisins can he? No, I don't think he can do this. That was so greedy. That was awful play. I'm like, he gets the tower, but you give up a kill. Yes, it's only towards Tundra, but you didn't need to give up a kill.
It depends what Exertus get from this.
Okay, we'll give it 3-4 minutes and see what they get from it. But I think that was just way too greedy. Because you don't need to do that.
Okay, I agree in a lot of senses. Totally agree in a lot of senses. You didn't need to do that. But the global gold input that they can get there, And he really is only giving up a 20-second death timer. So as soon as he's back on the map and able to
Perhaps I judged too fast. Perhaps I judged too fast. It's solo queue is what's happened there. And so many times I've seen a teammate be really greedy, give up kills to the ME80 carry because they're tower diving.
It's your inner PJ Salt coming
My
through.
inner PJ Caesar coming out. Sad times.
Oh, we brought up PJ Caesar, dude. That's rough.
Sorry. Tundra going to try and catch up Giblet here. There's a Rammus in the wings, and if he does catch him out, it will definitely be okay. Giblet's going to get stunned, but he has got the package, and he gets himself away.
Yeah, not quite timed, completely in sync there. There was just a fraction of a second too late for Zergov to land that stun. Even so, I think it would have been difficult for them to secure the kill with that package available on Giblet. The next ZZ Rot portal is alive and well, and he will continue to be an annoyance. And you can see he's picked up that cloth armor, so likely going to finish out that Sunfire Cape ASAP here. And yeah, like you said, imagine going for some armor towards the mid portion of this game.
Four-man mid and Special distorts in. He gets Unstoppable Force, but will flash away. Now it's only Nocturnal Plex. Tundra tries to join the fray. The TP will come in as well. Nocturnal Plex survives! I can't believe it as he manages to get away. Luki's going to get caught up, but they turn onto Diabolo. Here comes Special back in. Will distort back out again, and Ayuki goes down to the Ignite. Now Raisin's the target. What a turnaround fight here from the side of Exertus. What looked to be a 4v2 turns into a 4v4 in the flip of a switch as Exertus pick up 2.
Again, it's a very, very risky fight for TCA to force there. They went for the Malphite ultimate onto a very highly mobile mid laner like LeBlanc, has that double distortion available with the Mimic.
They waited for the first distortion, which was good, and then they ulted her after she bounced back to her distortion, but then she distorted flash across the wall.
Distorted
it was gorgeous.
Exactly. There's so many options for outs for a LeBlanc, especially if she hasn't used another ability after having Mimic available. Yeah. And then they went hard onto Plex there, who has got probably one of the best forms of anti-tower disengage in the game with that explosive cask, because you know, you barrel in onto a Gragas, he will just barrel out onto you. So I know, yeah, nice. Top keck.
Top keck now. 5 kills on LeBlanc, only 1 on Toaster, 2 on Tundra, 0 on both Nocturnal and Zergoth. Can we see Special getting caught out? He's distorted away once, does have the Mimic available as well. He jumps into the little keep. What damage! Scoundrel gets excited, Special gets almost taken out, but the clone comes back and saves his life for a second. Can he jump the wall? Raisins is here. A Winter's Bite would be enough, but can he get caught out by the cold? Giblet's going to chase as well. One barrage is not enough. Special might execute here.
Yes, he does.
What a... Again, Special, so it almost takes out a Yuki, manages to survive long enough to get executed. He's dodging, he's ducking, he's diving, he's skipping, he's weaving.
He's weeging, is he so
Fearless flashes away there from Nocturnal Plex.
They should be able to put pressure onto this top lane turret now. But it
will go down for TCA.
Yeah, it will give Dragon over to TCA. The issue here for TCA is that they need to consolidate on the fact that they've got a triple AD carry and a very good mid game in the form of, to be honest, all of their AD carries, Lucian, Graves and Corki.
Corki's going to be the target. Tundra misses the binding as Giblet dodges off.
Happened a lot, and Tundra's in danger.
Tundra is in danger because there's 3 members coming here. Riftherald has returned to the Void. In case you didn't realize, Giblet will get caught out with the second binding, but looks like TCA are going to go for the tower once more. Again, tanking up a couple of shots to try and put some pressure down. They won't be able to get anything out of it. Special, however, is not with this fight. He's in the bot lane. He's going to try and get himself farmed up. He's built his Luden's Echo, already a 2-item LeBlanc Excounter.
Kind of smart to go for the Luden's Echo.
Oh, mid lane fight, though. Diabolo's going to get taken out because Plex joined the fray. Raisins tanks up the binding from Tundra. But Plex doing a good job to catch out his fellow jungler there.
I kind of like the Luden's Echo second here on LeBlanc because ideally the only role that you have as a... Yeah, I know, I'm tapping the table. Ideally, the only role that you have as a mid laner here is to completely blow one of the members, or one of the crucial members of TCA up. And look, you see the defensive culling coming through, binding just not landing. So you're here to basically completely blow up one of the members of TCA, right? So you go for something that just gives you the maximum amount of burst in the form of that Luden's Echo, which is quite cost effective. Obviously, if you had the money, you'd go for a Rabadon.
And it gives you the move speed to do these little roams that he's doing as well. So
if you had the money, you'd go for the Rabadons. But realistically, you just want to be able to blow people up with that Luden's. And also, it gives you a little bit more wave clear with those Echoes that come out. Obviously, same passive as the jungle item, does not stack, as I once found out playing Echo Jungle. I went for a Ludens after going for Runic Echoes and was thoroughly surprised when I didn't get double Wisps coming out and doing damage.
That's a bit silly.
It was a bit silly. Yeah, and I'm also kind of worried because it's a very late Triforce, realistically, for Corki here. He had to go for that Hex Drinker early on. And now, there's always been the age-old argument as Corki mid laner, if you're going up against heavy AP, do you go for the Triforce first just to make sure you have that mid-game power spike, or do you go for that Hex Drinker? Well, he went for the Hex Drinker first, and it kind of has paid off because he hasn't really been under that much threat, and he hasn't died that often. In fact, you're seeing, I think Hex Drinkers across the board is likely to be seen here.
Yeah, definitely. Against this big of a LeBlanc, like the Phantom Dancer on Lucian's a little bit of an interesting pick. Diablo has to flash away from the Ethereal Chains, but Phantom Dancer on Lucian is not something we that commonly see at Scoundrel.
Phantom Dancer is probably the attack speed item of choice for most AD carries at the moment. It just, in general, it seems to be the most powerful. I think it's very situational, though. If you need more wave clear, you'll go for static. If you want to, realistically, don't want to get into up close and personal, and a lot of times you'll go for the rapid fire cannon. Just allows you to give that a little bit extra range.
Do you think we're moving away from the meta that was rapid fire cannon or static shiv all the time?
It wasn't even static shiv, it was practically just rapid fire cannon.
Rapid fire cannon
yeah, I genuinely think I think it's always becoming a little bit more situational now. I think Riot has done a pretty decent job of starting to balance those Zeal items. The Vayne build that we're seeing most Vaynes go, you know, it's kind of completely irrelevant to competitive play, but is Phantom Dancer first.
Talking about flanks, though, here comes Zergov onto Ayuki, and Ayuki gets absolutely destroyed. I don't even know where I was going that. Now, can they get out? They will be able to escape. They get the tower. Ayuki got melted away, or Ayuki destroyed, which is
we're going to need QSSs here, and I think you're going to need QSSs quickly, especially for the lower mobile AD carries like Diabolo and Luke.
And they're going again! Nocturnal Plex comes in. The explosive cast was still up. Phyllis will jump onto them, but Special is on a killing spree. Now he's going to go onto Diabolo as well. What can the Graves do versus so much hate? Special picks up one. The heal comes out as well, and Diabolo will go down. It's 7 kills for Special. It's a double kill for Toaster in the fight. Fearless falls to Nocturnal Plex and Tundra. It's an ace 23 minutes in.
So this is exactly how you're expecting. We talked about it in Champ Select. Rammus flanks, gets a stun, then LeBlanc blows someone up. You've got 3 very low health, high priority targets. Any one of them can be focused, and that's the link in the chain.
Oh, that was a bit dangerous there. Ayuki might be able to kick up 2 kills here. Tundra goes down as well. It's a double kill for him. It's still a counter ace again, and they will get the mid lane tower, but I feel that Special was a little bit overzealous to try and get that kill.
Yeah, I think he walked straight into a piercing light, which unfortunately spelled his demise. Yeah.
Oh, Giblet's going to try and chase.
He's just trying.
He's going to try and get onto Tundra. The Thunder Lords is quite a big proc, but he misses the Phosphorus Bomb and Nocturnal Plex here as well. They're going to turn it round. What a play.
Okay,
Nocturnal Plex
that was super good from Toaster. Left and right. Dodges the Phosphorus Bomb, keeps himself out of the missiles. Beautiful play from Toaster right there, and then the follow-up from Plex was absolutely fantastic. I got to give it credit to Toaster when it's due, because that was a brilliant piece of AD carrying.
That's what we said about Toaster's Callisto in picks and bans. He is a mammoth on that champion, absolutely destroying. And now, finally, TCA will get this mid lane tower, or will they? Yes, they will. But Raisins gets called out, and he's going to go down very, very quickly to Special and crew as he tries to escape. Special will pick up the kill. Now, keep chasing a little bit. It is a locket onto Raisins, which is why it took him a little bit longer to die. He did actually have it up there as well, so could have even prolongated it a little bit more. The first Quicksilver Sash has been picked up on Lucian. However, we yet to see it on the Graves or on the Corki.
I'm kind of interested in that random ZZ Rot portal that they just threw in the middle of the mid lane. I guess it was to buy time for them to escape. I'm kind of interested in the ZZ Rot portal on the Malphite. Yes. I haven't seen it that often on Malphites. I don't know why.
Oh, Fearless going to get caught out here. Lots of damage going down on him. He has to flash away. And yeah, it just doesn't tend to suit Malphite's build too much. You're not really looking at split pushing a lot of the time. You're kind of
exactly
with your team.
Yeah. When you pick a Malphite, you're not really there to split push. Yeah. Obviously, you want to be able to deal with Rammus split pushing in a way, but you're there to force fights for your team, and that's why I'm kind of interested, because this triple AD carry composition, they're not really wanting to force fights. Yeah. Against a Callisto LeBlanc.
Ooh, Plex is going to get stopped.
Against the Callisto LeBlanc Rammus, really, realistically, do you want to force fights?
No.
It's kind of why maybe a disengagey top laner Poppy, I don't know whether Poppy was banned or not, but Poppy might have been useful here. Just to you see Rammus running in, you literally just throw the hammer down. I'll have to double check what was banned out.
I don't think Poppy was banned.
No, I will double check, but it could have been more useful. And you go for the ZZ Rot. That's kind of.
I think it actually might have been banned.
Maybe.
Yeah,
we'll have to check.
Matter. Anyway, yeah. Dragon going down there for TCA though, second of the game.
So you've got this ZZ Rot. You're kind of staying in a side lane. You're looking to split push, but realistically, as a Malphite, you're not wanting to do that. But then in your team comp, you're not wanting to play Malphite the way you're playing your team comp. So.
Yeah.
It's kind of swings and roundabouts for TCA. I feel like their composition doesn't make that much sense.
And I feel that a lot of that might be the lane switch as well. I don't know how many AP mid laners Giblet plays, how many, you can put him on Corki, you can play Corki as an AD carry,
exactly.
So just play something he's
I was going to bring
with.
this up in Champ Select after it came through. You put Giblet on an AD carry, it makes a lot of sense given the situation that TCA were found themselves in.
But then the question is, should Diablo be playing Graves?
Yes.
Shouldn't he be playing something like an Elise or something with a bit of
we saw him play a
damage?
great Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai may have even been that good. Yeah, and again, I think the Graves may have been overkill. I've seen plenty of triple AD carry comps, with the rise of Graves jungle, and none of them have worked out particularly brilliantly.
Yeah. Double AD carry tends to work, but triple AD carry is just pushing it that step too
It kind
far.
of just makes your team, or too much of your team, a target,
Oh, nice little connection there on the end. Aoki has got a Hex Drinker along with his QSS, so he's got a bit of that magic resist under his belt, but
Poppy, I got confirmation from our admin that Poppy wasn't actually banned.
Oh, okay, so Poppy could have been played.
So you have a Malphite, and you're kind of like, what are you using this Malphite for? Realistically, he's good against when you want to hard engage, you want to wombo combo, you want to force fights against split pushing team comps.
Yeah.
You're not really playing against a split push team comp here. You're seeing it here. No one is really split pushing because Zergoth is so useful in a 5 versus 5 against a triple AD carry.
The only reason that Special can do what he does is he's 8-3 at the moment, and they're so far ahead that he can actually go to a
exactly. And it may have been a different story had Special not got that quadruple kill.
Whoa! And, that was a lot of damage onto Raisins, even with the Locket of the Iron Solari, only just surviving. And now Baron has been begun by the Exertus squad. TCA needs to be quick on their heels to try and stop this, but Special is off towards the side, trying to lock them out as much as he can. Diablo's there, 4,000 HP on that Baron. It's going down very, very quickly. 3,009, you've got Kalista. Zergoth with the flash torn across the wall to stop Diablo from being able to join in. Here comes Special, here comes Plex, here come all of Exertus, and they're going to wipe the floor with TCA here. Giblet just about surviving, but Fearless goes down. Already Ayuki is out. Raisin's going to get caught out as well. It's a double. Diablo runs his way away towards the base, and now we see Exertus pushing for this inhibitor tower.
Again, he picked see ya, Giblet.
That's just okay for me. It's an ace.
It's an ace. This could be game here for Exertus. Again, the Rammus top was a perfect pick into what I think was an overkill for AD carries right here. You've got three kind of AD heavy, Corki kind of more like 30-40% AD, but three heavy ADs. Rammus is a perfect pick. You can see here ZZ Rock Porter was all the magic resist that he needed, then straight into full armor. That Thormail finished up, and you saw in the last fight, basically tanked up the entirety of the TCA lineup, and just allowed his team to come from the back. And you see there, everyone blows their resources onto Zergoth. Yeah. It allows Special. This is exactly what we saw. Basically, this is exactly what we saw about 12 minutes in when